My name is Hartley Graham, and I run the production company, Crimson Tea Productions. We are an incredibly small company, and we were not expecting to see so many people here today. And you have absolutely no idea just how touched I am seeing you all here. So thank you all so much for coming to see us. It means the absolute world to all of us. There is only one thing I will ask of you, is that there is no flash photography, as it can distract the actors. But otherwise, you can take as many photos, videos as you like. And just before we start, I want to thank my amazing team for putting this together. We managed to screen this performance together in just over a month. Unfortunately, things did not go to plan this year, and it was difficult. But my team came together, some actors pulling in at the very last second to make this happen. So please will you give everyone a big round of applause who is working on this project and is here today. My actors and my tech are the most amazing people, and I hope that show will reflect that. So without further ado, I present to you the Ghosts of Campfire Stories, an original play by Crimson Tea Productions.
Here with us today. Curious of the tales of old, are you? I'm glad to know our stories are still of interest to the new generations. My name is Niven, and I will be your guide through this first story. So gather around, get comfy in your seats, feel the warmth of the campfire, and let yourself drift into the tales of old. The whispering of legends, the ghosts of campfire stories drift through the air. Can you feel it? Can you hear them? I think we're ready to begin. No, this story is not mine. Oh no, my story is far less exciting. No, this is the story of my dear friend Fenella, and the tragedy that befell her. You see, Fenella is a Maiden, which is Gaelic for maiden of the sea, but they're also known as Kiask, though you people would know them as mermaids. The upper half of their body is that of a human, but their lower half is that of a fish, unlike myself. Legends tell of Kiask who married humans whose children would grow up to be the greatest sailors in all of the land. But Kiask are known to be unpredictable creatures as well. Dangerous even.
Hold on a second. Wouldn't you be too if men kept trying to kidnap you for 3 wishes?
You have a point, Fenella. See, the Kiask became well known for luring sailors to their deaths. Looking them in their eyes and hearing their song would lure and put anyone under their spell. Sailors would capture the Kiask, and in exchange for their freedom, the Kiask would grant their capture 3 wishes. This knowledge spread far and wide, and soon the Kiask were hunted and captured for their wishes. So the Kiask retaliated. They would lure in the sailors, their songs making the men fall deep into infatuation. they would be compelled to them, the ship sailing closer and closer. They wouldn't even realize and notice the rocks below until the ship crashed into them. Sailors would throw themselves overboard, swimming away from their wrecked ships towards the kiosk. Unfortunately, they wouldn't meet with their fair maiden they had hoped to, but instead with a watery grave. But the casks weren't always dangerous or hazardous. Sometimes they just wanted to be able to sit by the shore and watch as others went about their business. And sometimes, listen by the shore, you would hear the songs of stories old, and if you looked, you would see a maiden by on a rock. Even though the kiosk wasn't using her powers of charm, a sailor who was passing by had become so incredibly infatuated with her. He couldn't help but stop and listen to her song. A young man walked in the forest with his quiver and hunting bow. He heard a young girl singing and followed down below. There he saw a maiden beneath the willow. He called to her as she listened, hidden towards the ring of bed. Come to me, my maiden, come from thy willow bed. She gazed at him serenely and only shook her head. You have a beautiful voice. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I mean you no harm, I swear. You have such an enchanting voice, and you're so beautiful, I just couldn't stay away.
Thank you.
So, what's a fair maiden like you doing down here by these rocks?
I was having some time to myself.
Yeah, but why down here? Aren't you scared of the waters? They're dangerous.
No, it is my home.
What do you mean? As the sailor glanced down, his eyes fell upon a tail that was the lower half of the maiden. His eyes grew wide in realization, understanding now what her words meant. He knew immediately what he was faced with. So, your kiosk.
Obviously.
Are you going to drag me to a watery grave?
Come on, those are just stories. Besides, if you do me no harm, I shall do you none.
In that case, may I stay and listen to you sing? The kiosk smiled, and the sailor stayed. He stayed and listened to her sing, and spoke with her, and laughed with her until late into the night. Eventually, however, they both had to part ways. When the next day rolled around, the sailor returned once more to find his new love, and once again he found her sat upon her rock. This would continue for weeks, months even. The sailor was in love with the kiosk, yet they could not be together, as she were bound to the sea as he were bound to land. You are as beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
Listen, Fenella. I know you are bound to the sea. And I understand that we cannot be together in the same way that humans would. We cannot take long walks together or even dance. We
can never do anything so human. But in the short time that we have spent together, I have fallen in love with you.
And I love you.
So I wanted to ask if I would perhaps have your hand in marriage.
Listen, as much as I love you, as much as you mean to me, we can't. I'm sorry. But perhaps a dance will make it up to you.
How? At his question, the cask moved from her rock to the sandy beach behind, and then, before the sailor knew what he was witnessing, the cask stood. Her fin had transformed into a pair of legs. The only evidence she were not human were the scales left behind in the sand.
You have legs!
For the time being,
But how?
I can shed my scales and have legs in place of them.
And to go back,
The scales go back on.
right. Well, shall we?
Upon hearing this news, a switch had flipped inside the sailor's brain. As a maiden of the sea, Fenella couldn't be with him. But as human, well, if she says human, then the things would certainly be different. He had made up his mind. He knew what he needed to do so that she would marry him.
What do you think?
You won't marry me as a kiosk, then how about as a human?
No, please, this isn't funny.
You said I was joking, Fenella.
But I need my scales. I need them to go back home.
No. I love you. You love me. Now there's no reason we can't be together.
Please, please don't do this. I'll give you any wish that you want. Please, if you just give me back my scales.
The only wish I have is to take you as my wife.
See me now. I cannot leave this place.
Can and you will.
And so, the sailor and the cask were wed. The sailor kept Fenella's scales hidden away from her, trapping her as a human. No matter how much he begged to be set free, he kept her trapped as a human. Years passed, and over time, Fenella gave birth to a son who grew up to be the most magnificent of sailors, just as the legends foretold.
Hello, dear. How's your trip?
Smooth sailing as always, Mum. The sea was kind to us. Sweet.
Gonna make a lot of money from these catches, I see.
Yes. There'll be more than enough for you to take care of yourself while we're away for the week.
What would we do without you?
We'd be worse off without you.
Aye. You're a fine woman, Fenella. Well, let's be off now. Take care of your mum.
Of course, Dad. Bye.
What's wrong, Mum?
As Fenella looked to her son, she realized that she could not possibly tell him the truth. Over the years, sit over the waters of Keswick, you may just hear her singing. And maybe this is not a particularly happy story or ending,
You're telling me.
but that doesn't make it any less true. Not every fairy tale is joyous, but there is always a glimmer of hope.
Existed, or your parents, or your parents' parents, the Vikings invaded. The Vikings are Norse, and they brought their stories and gods with them. Their tales are important to us too for this reason. Some of their stories even merged with ours. So they didn't start off Scottish, but they became part of our culture and history too. This story is the story of the Norse god Balder and how he dies. So, time to meet our key players for this story. Obviously, we have Balder, god of war. And then we have his brother, Hodder, or Hod, if you like, god of winter and warriors. Yeah, he's right. Yeah. And then we have their mother, Frigg, goddess of marriage. And finally, the Trickster, god of fire, Loki, my ex.
Hello, Leslie.
Don't you dare, we are not friends.
We're not.
No, not after what you did.
It was necessary.
You cheated on me.
For Asgard.
You cheated on me, and he wasn't even human.
Neither was I.
He was a horse, for goodness sake.
So was I.
Hey, can we, hurry up and just kill me, please? Because I think that this is going to cause some conversations that parents aren't comfortable with or ready for. And I kind of just want to hurry up and die at this point, so... Is that alright with you guys?
Sorry, Boulder.
You're right, of course. Okay, let's get to murdering a god. Our story starts with Balder, a god beloved by all, or at least, well, most. Balder was the son of Odin, chief of the gods, and also a bit of an ass, and the goddess Frigg. Balder was a most generous, courageous, brave, and joyful god, and Frigg could not be more proud of her son. Balder's kind nature only made what came next all the more tragic. One day, one ordinary day, seemingly out of nowhere, Balder began having ominous dreams predicting his untimely death. Balder was fearful of the meaning of these dreams, and so he went to his parents for guidance. Odin left for the underworld, knowing who he had to speak to find out if his son was in danger. And just by the look upon his face upon returning, he knew the answer.
Balder? Yes, Mum. I will not let that happen to you. Do you hear me? I will never let that happen to you.
Mum, no.
Hush me. It's going to be okay. I promise. I promise. I love you, my sweet, sweet boy. I love you too, Mum. Now, I have to go on a journey, but I will be back soon.
Be safe.
And so, Frigg travelled all of the 9 realms to ensure her son's safety. Frigg left no stone unturned for Balder, quite literally at that. Frigg asked everything, literally everything she came across not to harm her son. Living or non-living, moving, stationary, it didn't matter. Frigg made sure to secure an oath from every single living thing that ever existed, even, to not harm her son. Once she was satisfied, Frigg returned to Asgard.
Balder, I'm back. I made sure to get every living thing in existence. Rock, plant, person, animal. They
became a regular activity, a show of sorts. The gods laughed and joked as Balder stood strong against the onslaught. Balder grew cocky, and this angered Loki. Why did Balder deserve to be invincible? Why did he get to be so arrogant? So, Loki hatched a plan. One day, when the other gods were busy with their nightly game of throwing things at Balder, Loki disguised themselves and as an older woman and approached Frigg.
That young man over there seems quite strong, taking so many hits and not even getting hurt.
Oh yes, I'm very proud of him.
He must be very strong
Well,
to stand such a pummeling.
everything within existence made an oath to do him no harm.
Everything.
Oh yes, except,
Except
mistletoe is just so small and harmless that I didn't feel the need to bother it. It's so docile and it was the only patch in existence. I didn't feel the need.
of course not. Well, good night, dearie. I'll be on my way.
Alright, you have a wonderful night.
And with that, Loki hatched a plan. They were going to teach everyone a lesson, once and for all. By the time they returned to the others, they were more than ready to act on their plan.
Pod, can I speak to you for a moment?
Sure, Loki.
Don't you feel left out? Everyone hurling things at your brother, and you only get to sit on the sidelines and hear what's going on.
No, it's fine. I'm fine.
Come on, Pod. You can be honest with me.
Well, maybe a little.
Wouldn't you like to be able to join them?
How? I can't see. How would I be able to?
Don't be so sure.
What do you mean?
I think I can help you join in.
How? How?
Let me be your eyes, Pod. You can throw, but I will guide your hands to the right spot. Let me help you.
What are you playing at, Loki?
Me? Nothing. Why?
You've never offered to help before, so why now?
After seeing you sit on the sidelines, ignored. Just because you're blind, it isn't right. I want to make it right.
Thank you, Loki.
So, what do you say?
Sure. Be my eyes, Loki.
Attaboy.
And so, Loki's plan was put in motion. They led Hod to stand in front of Balder, guiding his stance to join in with the assault from the other gods. All eyes turned to the pair, some skeptical, some happy that Loki was helping another, but all watching. Unbeknown to everyone, Loki used the information they gathered in secret to make a spear. The spear was sharp, crafted excellently, and made of mistletoe. One thing that could harm Balder. Loki guided Hod's hand, unbeknownst to the blind god what the trickster had planned, and
Mother! What did you do? What do you mean? What's happening?
He's dead! Your brother's dead!
What? No!
Tough luck, Hod. Because the god of warriors would be the one to kill his brother.
You handed me it! You handed me the weapon!
And you what?
You handed me the spear! I think, but you handed it to me, Loki!
You threw it. I may have guided your hand, but this is all on you.
Loki, I swear you're going to pay for this!
And so, Asgard went into mourning. One of Balder's older brothers, Hermod, left for the underworld to speak to the goddess of death and daughter of Loki, Hel. He travelled to her and begged her for the safe return of Balder to them. He argued that everyone loved Balder, missed him, and wanted him to return. Hel replied that if everyone and everything did miss Balder, then let them weep for him. If anything refused, then Balder stayed. But if he was mourned by everything, then she would send him back. And everything did weep. Everyone did. All except one.
Because I refused to cry for him.
So you would rob me of my brother?
To be honest, I did kind of miss him. But come on, they were treating me awfully. And my kids as well. From day one. I didn't really need to kill him, just teach him a lesson. Come on. You can't understand that. You promise not to speak a word of this to anyone else.
I promise not a single word. Cross my heart, Loki.
Okay. You saw nothing.
Literally, Loki. I see nothing.
Sorry.
What happened? Balder! Honey!
And so Balder was reunited with his family once more. Frigg was overjoyed, and to show her thanks, she took a sprig of mistletoe and went to each and every person and gave them a kiss of her thanks. Underneath the mistletoe, she pressed a gentle kiss of gratitude to the cheek, even to Loki.
Bygones are bygones.
Well, at least you brought my son back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly, Loki. Exactly.
Balder. Didn't exactly mean to kill you there. Sorry.
Is she trying to say you're sorry?
No.
It's fine, Loki. Bygones are bygones.
You're taking this surprisingly well.
I think we've had enough tragedy for one day, Loki. Harming you now would do nothing. But I swear, if you ever use Hod like that again, I will come for you.
Point taken.
I'm right here. Hello.
Sorry. Come on. Nope, that way.
Well, so now you know the story of Balder, and how my idiot of an ex killed him. Speaking of, they're telling the next story, so good luck with that. Hey, whoa.
So, now that that's over with.
No, get away from me.
But you know,
Away!
you know, I think I told that story just to make me look bad. I mean, come on. Causing mischief isn't a crime. I'm sure some of you can understand that. And anyway, I used to be quite mischievous in her day. Oh yes, let's have a look now, shall we? Would help if I had the book the right way. Okay. Now here we are. A long time ago, in a village near Loch Ness, it was surrounded by a forest. And in that forest, the village people could gather fruit herbs and hunt for animals. Sometimes the village children would explore the forest and play, finding anything they could. But there were two rules that everyone in this village knew. Don't stray from the path and never go into the woods alone.
Did you boys have fun?
Yeah, Mom. Yeah. We were in the forest and we found this really cool stream, and it's not that far from the path.
Wait. Did you stray away from the path to get close enough to the stream? Listen to me. You are not allowed to do that, okay? It's
reasons the children were too young to understand. In the woods, creatures lurked in the overgrowth of the plants. Creatures that could hurt the children if they left the safety of the path.
Stick to the path, child. Don't stray from the path. Yeah, right. There's always finding cool things. See? Near the stream would be fine.
And some creatures lurked in the streams and rivers that winded through the forest, just waiting for a lone traveller to wander far enough from the path, just waiting until they were away from safety.
Hello, little child.
A pony?
Not exactly.
You're the one talking.
Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah.
So you're not a pony.
Are you disappointed?
I like ponies.
Well, think of me as a talking pony then, when you can be friends with me.
Friends?
Yeah, sure, kid. Why not? What are you out here for anyway?
Wanted to explore.
In the dark?
Snuck out.
Why'd you sneak out?
My mom thinks I'm just a little kid who's gonna get lost or hurt, but I'm not. I just went to explore it. You know.
Yeah, I know. Mums can be so annoying, can't they?
Yeah! Exactly!
Tell you what, why don't I take you to my favourite place in the forest, and after that I can come and tell your mum that you're a big boy who can handle themselves.
I'd like that. You really do that?
Yeah, I would, yeah. I'll even let you ride on my back.
Really?
Yeah, I would. All right, let's go.
By the time anyone realised a child from the village was missing, it was already too late for them. I have kids myself. A lot, actually. If any of them were taken, I don't know what I'd do, or how I'd tell the others, or how I'd tell anyone.
Hey, it's not my fault he never told me he couldn't breathe underwater. It's not like he told me.
You could have figured it out.
Yeah, well, look, shut up, okay? Just get on with the story.
Fine. Now, by the time anyone had realised a child from the village had gone missing, it was already too late for them. Upon hearing of his friend's disappearance, the other child went into the forest. He had to find out what happened to his friend.
Hey, kid, you lost?
No. I'm just looking for my friend.
Oh.
He went missing yesterday. He's a little bit taller than me. Have you seen him?
Tell you what, kid, I actually have seen him, right? I'll take you to him.
You're a horse?
Well, yeah, kind of.
A talking horse.
Well, I mean, stranger things have happened, right?
Right.
Yes, and I know what's happened to your friend, right? Do you want to come with me? And I'll take you to him.
No. I know what happened to him now. You took him!
But why would I do that?
My mom told me about you.
Oh.
And she told me just what to do.
Removing a Kelpie's bridle would remove the illusion that they were a horse and transform them into a hideous lizard.
Hey, who are you calling hideous?
Distraught, the Kelpie would throw themselves into the Loch Ness and hide beneath the waves. A Kelpie no longer haunted the forest, but still lurked in the waters of Loch Ness itself. Eiley still drank wells in those waters to this day.
Hey, you're forgetting the most important part, right? I'm Nessie.
Yeah, exactly. So, now that's over?
No, I'm not getting a drink with you, love.
Come on, Issy, it's
No.
just one drink.
No!
Come on.
turn to read it. Come on, I'm the best. Let's be real. Let's be real. So, I'm going to tell you all about Dogman. It's called a Wolver until a Dogman. It's a legend from the Shetland Isles. It's a mix of Norse and Scottish mythology, so I'm told. Where's that page? Here you go. So, remember Dog Boy, first one to read the story? It's about him. It's kind of boring, actually. It's pretty boring. He comes from the Shetland Isles. He's a half-human, half-wolf. The stage between man and beast. Stuck in between worlds. The exact origins of this myth is unknown. We don't really know exactly what myths of ours combined to make him, but he obviously did something, right? He keeps to himself. You normally find him in the woods or by streams. Mostly just fishes. Sometimes in lakes, sometimes in rivers. Sometimes you'll even find him out by the ocean. But just because he spends his days in solitude doesn't mean he was an unkind man. Quite the opposite, actually.
Excuse me.
Oh, are you all right there, young one?
Well, things are kind of lost. Actually, quite a bit lost.
Well, where are you heading?
Well, Bray, it shouldn't be too far from here.
No, it's not. Do not worry. Here, this way.
Lost travelers would often happen upon the Wolver, finding him in forests when they needed him the most. You know, Shetland was a Viking stronghold for, well, more than 600 years. You know, I think that's why the historians thought we brought him over. Kind of lived there for quite a while. Actually, you're a Celt god of thunder. Tarnus. You translate that into Old Norse, you get Gunnar. That's my name in Old Norse. Forget it. There are Norse tales of wolfmen. They're very different from your Celtic tales. The next tale is of the great Jotun Fenrir. It's the infamous wolf that would see my father, the old father himself, dead. And firstborn son of me. I was just getting to that.
Telling the tales of how horrible my children were.
Well, I mean,
Come on, no one wants to hear about how Fenrir bit off the god of war's hand, or how his sons will eat the moon and sun.
fine. A Celtic tale then.
It's not ripping into your son's gotta kill dad, then fine.
Right, well, where to start? I mean, evidence of myself is present in a lot of your Celtic works of art. Actually, the Celtic god, Dagda, is Odin, even down to the fancy spear and, lots of pleasant habits. Why is there no Celtic tales of you?
Issy burned them all after we broke up.
Remind me not to mess with them. Anyway, your Kiask became our Nixie. Our Asgard became your Celtic otherworld. The Norse presence is in Britain, even down to your town names. Actually, one of your days of the week is named after me. Not you, remember that? Celts actually had a practice that was known as threefold death. It's the core of their society, and in our Norse legends, Odin himself is doing the exact same thing in order to predict Ragnarok, end of all things, and to help learn runes so we can read and write. There's actually the tale of Sigurd, Fafnir's babe, infamous dragon slayer. Could be the same Sigurd that was Jarl of Orkney. And they invaded Morovia, which is now Moria and Ross, which is, where we are now.
This is getting boring. How about I tell another story?
So I bet you're all wondering, where is Thor's tale in all of this? Well, apparently we just didn't have time to tell my story, which I'm sure you were very disappointed about. All of my stories are really cool, I promise. So apparently this company called Crimson Tea Productions is going to film a story about me. Yeah, those are our stories and we hope you enjoyed. So I hope that you'll welcome back to the stage Wolf Boy.
And I'm a wolver. I'm not a dog.
Wolf Boy. Fish Girl.
Some fried fish.
Yes, exactly. The horse. Wait, no, it's not your ex, it's the other one's ex. I said horse.
It's Islay the Kelpie.
And the bane of my existence, Loki. But in all seriousness, this production would not have been possible without my fabulous actors. Patton, Persephone, John, Hunter. And can we also have a round of applause for Kenny, who stepped in at the last minute to stagehand, and Dan, our tech guy.
And can we also have a round of applause for Hartley, our director and actor, who pulled this script out of himself in under a month, pulled us all together, got us to rehearse. He created this production. He created most of the props you have seen. He got this. He is obviously the person who has brought us together, and I'd like you all to give him a round of applause.
You guys are gonna make me cry. I really appreciate all of you coming and being here and supporting us. It really means the world. We weren't expecting to sell so many seats, so thank you all so much. If you want to keep up to date with our future projects, everything is under Crimson Tea Productions. We will hopefully be back here soon. And thank you so much, Little Theatre, for letting us perform here. This means the world to us. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for being such a fantastic audience.